Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So, in today's lecture we will see freeze dryer, the design of freeze dryer. Freeze dryer is one of the most important component in food industry and it is having certain advantages over other types of dryer. Since the freeze dryer is what we can say, it is a premium dryer, so the quality of the product we are getting from the dryer is also premium. So, we generally in drying what happens, the product shrinks because of drying and the moisture loss will be there, but in case of freeze dryer the product does not shrink and it retain its structure and shape, and which is increase the rheological properties and textural properties of product and also increase the consumer acceptances. So, today we will see how the freeze dryer work, what are the different components of freeze dryer, what are the different types of freeze dryer, and then we will design the freeze dryer and we will see the various heat and mass transfer related to the freeze dryer. So, let us start the lecture. In this picture you can see this is a freeze dryer and I have tried to show the major components of a freeze dryer. So, like door, heated shelves, refrigerated coils, vacuum pumps, compressor, these are few of the most important components of a freeze dryer. So, we will see all these components one by one from next slides. So, going to next slide. Sorry. So, in this slide we are defining what do you mean by freeze drying. So, freeze dryer is also known as a lyophilizer. So, lyophilizer means a freeze dryer. We both are the synonyms for the same terms. So, the equipment we use for drying, freeze drying is freeze dryer, and it removes water from the component or from our food material. Okay. So, here in freeze dryer we are seeing the work of the freeze dryer is removing of the water from the component, and the freeze drying material, what happens in that, we reduce the temperature of the freeze dryer and we freeze the product, and after freezing we do sublimation, we remove the water with the help of sublimation. So, sublimation is the term which we use generally in freeze drying. So, freeze dryer works by freezing the material, then reducing the pressure. Okay, first we reduce the temperature, then reduce the pressure, and then we add heat to the product. Okay, which what happens then? Then water, frozen water, sublimate. Okay, so sublimate is the term which we use for freeze drying. What do you mean by sublimation? So, generally we know there are three phases of three phases of any product, that is solid, liquid and gas. So, the term when we convert solid to liquid, it is generally known as melting. Okay, this happens in ice, and when we convert melting, okay, when we convert liquid to gas, it is known as evaporation. Okay, but when we directly convert solid to gas like ice to vapors, then we call it as sublimation. Okay, the term which we use to convert solids directly to the gas is known as sublimation. So, sublimation happens in freeze dryer. So, like our food products are generally having water, either bound water or unbound water. So, what happens when we are having a product, what we do, we directly freeze the product and then we get all water in the solid form. We convert all present water inside a food material to the solid form. Okay. So, solid form is water is ice. So, we convert all the water present inside the food matrix into ice, and then with the help of sublimation, okay, we evaporate all the water into gas. Okay. We do not go to the liquid stage. So, this is what we are eliminating, and this is what retains the structure of the product in freeze drying. So, what are the uses of freeze dryer? It preserves the perishable materials. So, this is common for all the dryers. All dryers preserve the perishable materials. It extends the shelf life. This is also same, like all the dryers extend the shelf life. Okay, and it also make the material convenient for transportation. Okay, so but the major advantage of freeze dryer is the retaining the shape of the product. So, going to next slide. So, I was talking about 3 phases of solid. Okay. So, now we will see the phases of freeze drying. So, freeze drying was having 3 phases. First is freezing phase, in which we will freeze the product. Second is primary drying, in which we sublimate the product. Then absorbent drying, okay, or absorption, which is secondary phase of drying. So, these 3 phases we will see one by one, but this diagram shows what happens general in the freeze drying. Okay. In a freeze dryer, this is the first stage, which is the freezing stage. This is the second stage, which is the primary stage, and this is the third stage, which is secondary drying stage. So, what happens in freeze drying? What we do? In first stage, what we do? We freeze the product. We reduce the temperature up to minus 40 degrees Celsius. Okay. This red color is showing the temperature, and green color showing the pressure of the product inside a freeze dryer. So, what we happen? We reduce the pressure as well as temperature of the product or inside the chamber, and so that the temperature of the product and pressure of the product can be reduced, and all the water available inside the product will be converted to the ice. Okay. So, this is what happens in the freezing stage. In drying stage, what we will do? We will start increasing the temperature of the shelf. Okay. When we are studying the components, we will see what are the various components of the freeze dryer and what do you mean by shelf. Okay. So, we will increase the temperature of the shelf. What if we are increasing the temperature of the shelf? See, red is increasing, and we also increase the pressure of the chamber. So, what happens here? The product started, the water inside the product will start evaporating. Okay. The ice is present, formulation will start inside the ice inside the product will start evaporating. The example for this we can understand when we are having ice cream. If you have seen the ice cream, you find that the vapors are coming up from the ice cream, correct? So, in ice cream, that is the sublimation happens naturally. So, that sublimation will try to replicate over here in second stage, which is a primary drying stage, and the tertiary stage will try to remove the, like what happens, our free water will convert to ice very easily. Okay. And then we will remove the free water by sublimation, that is also easy. But what happened to bound water? The bound water didn't evaporate that easy. Okay. For that we need to do the secondary drying stage. So, in primary drying stage, what happens? We remove generally 90 to 95% of water present inside a product. Okay. But to remove remaining 5, which is bound water, okay, to remaining this, we need to go for the second stage of drying. Okay. So, this second stage is generally we are doing for dehydration of the product. Fine. So, how this is happen? This is happens with the help of adsorption. Okay. We supply certain stabilizer or certain type of media through the food matrix, so that the bound water can be released, or we try to make this bound water free from the structure. Okay. So, with the help of medias, and then we perform the secondary drying, and then we can remove the remaining 5% of water. Okay. And after secondary stage of drying, we can achieve 0 to 3% of moisture content of product. So, this is the how different phases of freeze drying. So we will see all these phases in details. So first phase was freeze drying, freezing phase. So freezing can be done by various type of freezers. Okay, so a chiller bath can be, we can give, or we can directly put our product inside a freezer. Okay, or like on a shelf freeze dryer, like freeze dryer comes with the shelves which can reduce the temperature, or with the sprayers. Okay, we sprinkle the water to reduce the freeze drying freezer temperature. Okay, so these are the different modes of freezing inside a freeze dryer, and the freeze dryer cools the material below to its triple point. Okay, to ensure the sublimation rather than the melting. What do you mean by triple point? First we will understand the triple point, then we will understand the point, this whole point. So triple point is the point or temperature in which three phases of any material exist. What are the three phases? Solid, liquid and gas. Okay, solid, liquid and gas, these three phases of any material, the temperature at which these three phases of any material exist is known as the triple point of that material. For example, let's take ice cream. Correct. So as soon as we take the ice cream outside the freezer, what happens? It starts melting. Correct. So the example I was given was ice cream. The ice cream was started melting as soon as you take it out from the freezer, right? And it was also evaporating at the same time. So temperature inside the freezer are generally minus 5 to minus 18 degrees Celsius. Okay. And as soon as we take the ice cream outside the freezer, what happens? This temperature start rising. When this temperature start rising, so at that initially our ice cream doesn't melt, but after a certain time, like 5 to 10 minutes, it started melting speedily. Okay, what happens when the ice cream reaches the temperature of 4 degrees Celsius, okay, 4 to 5 degrees Celsius, its triple point achieves. At that time, you can see the vapors coming out from the ice cream, as well as it is melting at the same time, okay, as well as it is retaining its solid structure. So that temperature at which all three phases of this ice cream or any product coexist is known as the triple point of the product. So now what happens in a freeze dryer? So what we do, we will try to keep the temperature below to the triple point. Okay. So we will try to keep the product temperature below to this triple point. In case of ice cream, we will try to keep it below 4 to 5 degrees Celsius. Okay. And then we will perform the sublimation of the product so that it won't convert into liquid, okay, then to gas, so that we can directly convert it into the solid to gas. Okay. If this triple point temperature increases, okay, if the temperature of the product increases from the triple point, what happens? It will convert to liquid then to gas. But if we are maintaining the triple point temperature or below the triple point temperature, what happens? We can perform the sublimation action. So next is freeze dryer is most easily freezing easily freeze dryers large ice crystal. Okay. So here we are talking about the size of the ice crystal. Okay. So what happens when this ice in our food materials, what happens? The ice crystal which we form in case of freeze dryer, okay, when we are freezing our product, what happens? The ice crystal form, okay, and these ice crystals can be large or very large. At that time, the problem occurs, the quality of the product we can't achieve that much. So to overcome that quality, we perform certain operation which is known as annealing, which we will see later. What do you mean by annealing? Okay. So annealing is the process in which we can break this large size of ice crystal into smaller size so that the quality of the product, final product, can be improved. Okay. So annealing can also be referred to the slow freezing. Okay. Means when we are freezing rapidly, okay, so generally we try to reduce the processing time inside the product, okay, inside our processing industry. That's why we generally perform fast freezing operations, but there are some limitation with the agricultural produce, that like certain, not all, but certain type of agricultural produce, that you can't perform fast freezing on that. Okay, generally the meat are the best example of that. So in that cases, what we do, we will do slow freezing of those products. Okay, that is also known as annealing. So what happens, that when the crystals are too large, the size of the crystal, size of the ice crystal formed during freezing is too large, okay, it will break the cell wall of the product, okay, which we doesn't want, because it leads to the quality degradation. Okay, it leads to the what happens when the size crystal is too large, the quality of the product degrade. Okay, or in other terms we call less than ideal drying results. Okay, what are our ideal drying results? Like the quality of the product should be high, good quality. When we are performing some premium operations, the quality of the product should be premium. But when the size of the ice crystal are big, what happens? The quality will reduce, or in other terms, in other words, what we say, less than the ideal freezing drying results. Okay, so to preserve that, we do rapid drying sometimes. Okay, if the slow drying is not working, then we will go for the rapid drying. Okay, and this precipitation and annealing we can see later. Okay, so there are two types of drying, freezing phase. First is fast drying phase and the slow drying phase. Slow drying and fast drying phase. Okay, this slow drying we generally go to the meat. Okay, this is also known as annealing. Okay, fast drying we will see later, where we do fast drying. Okay, so this is at it in the first stage. In first stage, what we do, with the help of freezer or chiller, we try to freeze our product, and we will also try to keep the temperature below to the sublimation temperature. So a triple point temperature, so that sublimation occurs. Okay, there are two types of drying. There are two types of freezing phase. Fast freeze drying, fast freezing and slow freezing phase. Okay. Going to the next slide. So next, after freezing phase, next stage is primary drying stage. So primary drying phase, what we do here, we reduce the pressure, okay, and we add the heat to the system, to our drying chamber. Okay, temperature is reduced, we have seen in the graph. Okay, and also heat is added to the pressure is reduced and also heat is added to the system. So what happens? Water start evaporating and it start sublimating. Okay, sublimation start at that time in primary stage. The vacuum speeds of sublimation, the freeze dryer's vacuum speed of sublimation, the freezer dryer cold condenser provides a surface for a water vapor to adhere and solidify. The condenser also protects the vacuum pumps from the water vapors. Okay, so here we try to speed up the sublimation. In this operation, we try to speed up the sublimation. How? By lowering the pressure and increasing the temperature. Okay, and how this sublimation occurs? This occurs due to the condenser. So there is one term which will come next in slides, that is RPM of the condenser and all those condenser, how this condenser affect the sublimation operation or the primary drying phase of the product. Okay, so it helps in the condenser helps in the speeding the sublimation. and we can achieve 95% of water removal in this stage. Okay. So, in primary drying stage what happens? We lower the pressure, we increase the temperature, with the help of the condenser we try to speed up the sublimation, and we try to achieve 95% of the drying inside the primary stage itself. Okay, going to next slide, which is secondary stage or secondary drying phase, which is also known as adsorption. So, there are two terms, adsorption and sorption, okay, which we have already studied in drying. So, I won't repeat that, what is adsorption, what is sorption, what is desorption. So, in this we try to perform adsorption. So, here the final stage, this is also a final stage of the drying. So, here what happens? We remove the bound water, we try to remove the bound molecules of the product. Okay. So, these molecules are generally ionically bound, or it can be bound inside the structures. Okay. So, this type of water we try to remove. Previously in the primary stage we removed the free water inside the product. Now, we are concentrating remaining 5% of bound water inside the structure. So, here what happens? We raise the temperature. We further raise the temperature from the primary stage, okay, that we have seen inside the graph. Okay, the temperature is raised, and what happens because of that? The bond broke. Okay, because of rising in the temperature, these ion bonds which occurs which forms between the product and the water will break. Okay, this is what happens when we raise the temperature further. So, the freeze drying material, after this it retain a porous structure because we have removed all the water from our product. Okay. And the moisture content we achieve after completion of this stage is 1 to 5%. Okay. Generally it is 0 to 3%, but okay, fine. It is written 1 to 5%, then it is also can be considered. So, the final moisture content after secondary stage of drying will be 1 to 5%, okay, remaining moisture content. So, in the secondary drying phase what happens? We try to remove ion bonds which forms or bound water which is present inside the product, okay, we are trying to remove that. How? By raising the temperature further, okay, we do not change the pressure here. We only increase the temperature. So, increase in the temperature, what happens when we increase the temperature? It breaks the bonds, okay, it breaks the bonds, and because of those bonds we can retain because the bonds are broken, then the water can be removed easily, and because of that the remaining structure is porous in nature, okay, the product is porous in nature, and we achieve 1 to 5% of drying. So, what happens? Here we have talked about reducing the temperature, so reducing the pressure inside the chamber. Okay. Since the pressure is reduced and we have removed the water, what happened? Now we have to supply certain type of air to fill that gap. Okay. So, that air or gas should be inert in nature, so that it will not react with our products. Okay. So, in this stage, in secondary drying stage, we also supply the inert gas. Okay. We also supply the inert gas. Okay. So, that our product, the cavity forms or the porosity formed inside our product can be overcome, or we can replace the water we can replace the water with the inert gas. Okay, this is what happened in the second stage. Coming to next slide. Okay, when we are performing freeze drying operation, so there are certain steps we should avoid. Okay, there are certain problems which occur which we should avoid. Okay, so the first one is heating of the product. Okay, so what happens when we are heating in the secondary stage? Okay, So the temperature which we are generally concentrated should be sorry, the temperature we are concentrated should be that much that it won't increase the triple point of the product, okay, triple point temperature of the product. So while we are heating, we should be concerned about the temperature of the product, okay, and we don't overheat the product. What happens if we overheat the product? It will melt back or our product collapse, okay. If we increase the temperature above than the triple point, what happens? The product will melt, it will start melting, or in other words we can say the product will collapse. Or the in primary drying we also seen condenser, okay. So what happens when condenser overload? What is the problem occurs? What is the problem? Why the first this condenser overload? When we are drying, what happens? Water vapor evaporates and it will start hitting the condenser, because condenser is on the top and it will start, water vapor start hitting the condenser, okay. So when it start hitting the condenser, it will block some pathways inside the condenser and condenser overloads. So why this occurs? When too much vapors are forming inside the product, or when the surface area of the product is too large, okay, we can increase the width of the product to reduce the surface area, or in other words, say we can say that the condenser area is too small, okay, when our condenser is too small to handle that much size of the product, okay, or the refrigeration, like what we are doing, whatever vapors are coming, we are condensing this with the help of condenser. So when the refrigeration, that condenser refrigeration inside it is insufficient, then these problems occur and we should avoid this problem. So next is vapor choking. So we know vapors form when we are drying. So what happens when this vaporization rate is too high, rate is too faster? What happens? Then vapor ports, from where the vapors are coming out, will get choked or will get coagulated, okay, and which will cause the stop of this drying process, complete drying process, and which also increase the pressure inside the drying chamber, because our product is evaporating means very fast, and the outlet is choked because of that fast evaporation, and the pressure inside the chamber is increasing and it can cause serious injuries, okay. So these are the operations, these are the problems which we should avoid during evaporating or freeze drying the product, okay. Going to the next slide. So there are some terms. Before designing, we will see some terms about freeze dryers, okay. So because these terms are needed, these terms I will use in designing of freeze dryer. So first term is eutectic point or eutectic temperature. What do you mean by eutectic temperature? Okay, it is a point at which product only exists the solid state, okay. Here the only solid stage of the product is existed, and it represents the minimum melting temperature. So at this temperature our product is in solid state and it is about to melt, okay. It's in solid state but about to melt, clear. So that is the temperature which is eutectic temperature. So a product can have a specific eutectic temperature or a different eutectic temperature depending upon the composition of the product, okay, or multiple eutectic points or a single eutectic points. So eutectic temperature is a temperature which only exists in the solid state and minimum melting temperature, okay. When product is about to melt, and it's in a solid state, that is the eutectic temperature. Next comes the critical temperature. Okay. So, we have already seen the triple point. I have already triple point temperature. This is also another important one. 2, third one is critical temperature. So, the maximum temperature of the product before its quality degrades, okay, or melt back or collapse. It is the maximum temperature of the product which we should retain inside the freeze dryer. Okay, that is the temperature inside the freeze dryer at which generally it occurs during the primary stage of drying. Okay. So, it is the maximum temperature which we can achieve inside a freeze dryer, okay, which avoid melt back and collapse. Okay. After the critical temperature, our product will start melting and it will collapse. So, that is the maximum temperature. Next come annealing. I used term annealing in my previous slide. So, annealing is a process, okay, in the freezing where after freezing we will warm the material and will allow the crystal to grow larger. Okay. So, here what we do, we will freeze the product, then we will warm the material. Okay. So, what will happen when we do annealing? It will allow the crystal to grow larger. Okay. So, next is glassy stage, which we use after this. Okay. Glassy state, what do you mean by glassy state of a material? It is a system where there is no definite phase. I have told you there are 3 phases of a product, okay, liquid, solid or gas, but when we can't identify whether product is liquid, solid or gas phase, that phase is known as the glassy stage. Okay. So, at this stage no latent heat is associated with the transformation from the both liquid and solid or solid to liquid. Okay. At this stage, like what happens generally when we do not achieve glassy stage, what happens when we are melting our product, okay, or when we are freezing our product. So, from like solid to liquid, when it is converting, this is solid and it is converted to liquid. Okay. What happens in this stage? There is no increase in the temperature, but there is a certain heat which is involved, that we known as latent heat. Okay. There are 2 types of heat, sensible heat and latent heat. So, since there is no temperature involved here, no temperature increase or decrease is there. So, but still the product transferring the energy, that energy we define as a latent heat. Okay. When this latent heat is not in the picture, okay, when this latent heat is not, we can't sense this latent heat, okay, and it is not in the picture, but the product is in, like we can't define whether it is completely solid or completely liquid. At that stage of the product we known as the glassy state. Okay. So, next term is crystalline. So, this is term 6. So, as we know, when we are freezing a product, it forms crystal, correct, and this crystal having a certain eutectic point, or it can be multiple eutectic points as also. Okay. And this crystal forming we call as crystalline. So, how we can increase this crystalline? By doing annealing, okay, or fast freezing causes the small crystals, correct. That is why we go for annealing, so that the size of the crystal can be increased, since the fast freezing is hard to dry. Okay. So, crystalline is the nature of the product. When we freeze it, it forms crystal, that we known as crystalline. Crystalline can occur at a certain eutectic temperature or at a multiple eutectic points. Okay. When we are doing fast freezing, it forms small crystals which are hard to dry. That's why we go for annealing, okay, or slow freezing, which helps to make the bigger crystals. Next term is amorphous. So, as we know that our food materials are the mixture of the product. Okay. So, suppose we are dealing with the ice cream or milk, so it is not a single product, it is a mixture of the products. Okay. So, these products do not crystallize at same temperature. Okay. So, they are having a range of temperature. For example, our ice will crystallize further, water will crystallize further faster than the milk, okay, if the dry product are there. So, these components are having the mixture and which do not having a certain eutectic temperature. Okay. That is why we are having a glass stage. Okay. Since we do not have a certain eutectic temperature point, that is why we achieve the glass stage. Okay. Glass stage is a stage in which we can't say that our product is either a liquid or a solid, correct, but we can also didn't determine the latent heat acting on it. That's why the phase is still changing, but it is changed throughout the range of the temperature. So that's why glass stage occurs. And when it occurs? When there is no exact eutectic point. Okay. So what we do for the freeze drying of the amorphous material? We need to perform drying below to the glass transition temperature. Okay. Below, like before converting our product into this glass transition temperature or glass stage, below that temperature we have to perform the drying in case of amorphous product. Okay. So next one is collapse. Collapse means when our material like either melts or deforms its structure, that is collapse, and it is a complete failure of the drying process, because our aim in freeze drying is to retain the structure of the product and only remove the water from it. Okay. So when the product, it is a point at which the product soften, okay, or it can't supports its structure, it is that temperature at which the product gets soft or it can't retain its structure. Okay. The reason of this collapse can be like either the physical structure of the product is not capable to maintain or to retain its shape, okay, or the drying is incomplete. When drying is incomplete, what happens? The water will try to melt, and when water is try to melt, then the structure will deform, okay, or decreased solubility. The solubility is decreased and the lot of ablation or splat are there. Okay. Like when we dry the product, what happens? The cracks forms, okay, inside the product, okay, that we known as splats. Okay. So if the lot of splats or cracks are formed inside the product, then also our product collapse. So now we will see the working principle of drying, okay, freeze drying. So here we are having the three stages of a product, okay. Either it can be a liquid stage, liquid, solid, or vapor stage. Okay, these are the mainly three stages of this diagram we also known as the phase diagram of a product. Okay, so this is a phase diagram of a product. So it can either be solid, liquid, or vapor phase. Okay, so now we are talking about eutectic point. So this is the eutectic point. Okay, this is the triple point. So what happens? Triple point, at triple point what happens? Below the triple point what happens? sublimation occurs. Okay, directly solid to vapors. Okay, above the triple point what happens? Melting occurs or freezing occurs. If we reverse the process, then freezing occurs. Okay, solid will convert into solid, so liquid will convert into solids above the triple point, or these vapors will first condense, then convert to the solid. Okay, first condensation will occur, then freezing will occur, then it will get the solid. But before triple point what happens? Sublimation or condensation twice directly occurs. Okay, so condensation or evaporation occurs above the triple point. So these are the basic principle how the sublimation occurs. Sublimation occurs below the triple point. Okay, below this temperature only sublimation occurs, and this is the pressure. We need to reduce the pressure also, not only the temperature, we need to reduce the pressure also. This is the temperature. Sorry, this we are talking about pressure. Okay, like this, and like this we are talking about the temperature. Okay. So this is general principle how sublimation occurs, but what happens inside a freeze dryer? This we can see from here. So here we are dealing with the cooling and the heating. Okay, we are cooling the product and same time we are trying to heat the product also. So the heat we generate is radiant heat. Okay, it's not a direct heat, it's generally the radiant heat. Radiant heat is a heat which is transferred from with the help of rays. Okay, so we generally deal with the radiant heat, and this is our product. First, what we do, we just our product is kept on the trays, and with the help of the radiant heat from the top tray, the product will do the evaporative cooling. Okay, and there is a convective heat also between the product bottom and the product walls. Okay, if our product is kept inside a bottle or something, what happens? There is a convective heat transfer from this bottom of the plate, because this tray is responsible to increase the temperature. So because of this tray, the heat will transfer to the product layer, and then from product layer, sorry, the bottle layer, and from the bottle layer it will get transferred to the product. Okay, and same here, the product heat will transfer to the layer of the bottle, then to the product. That is convective heating. Radiant heat is from the top tray. Okay, the rays will transfer and the heat will generate, and it will cause the evaporative cooling. Okay, convective heat is done. Then there is another heating is there, that is conductive heat. Okay, conductive heat is directly due to the tray and the bottom of the bottle. Okay, that is the conductive heating. So these three type of heating are occurring inside a evaporator, and this causes the evaporative cooling of the product. So these are the two basic principles: first triple point and sublimation, and then convective, conductive and evaporative or radiating heat is causing the evaporation. These are the working principle of dryer, freeze dryer. So now we will see the various components of the freeze dryer. After that we will design the freeze dryer. Okay, the components of freeze dryers are, the first is drying chamber. So this is drying chamber. Inside the drying chamber we are having trays. So these are the trays. One tray and second tray. These are the trays which we are having. Okay, so and these are the heating elements. trays and the radiant heating, these are the radiant heating elements. These trays are also having the heating inside it. This causes the conductive and convective heat transfer. This trays causes conductive and convective heat transfer. Okay. And this trace cause, sorry, this radiant heat source cause radiant heat transfer. Okay. Tray cause convective and conductive heat transfer coefficient and heat transfer, and radiant cause radiant heat source cause radiant heat transfer heat transfer. Okay. So, since this is all about the heating of the product, what about cooling of the product? For that we need refrigeration system, correct? So, for refrigeration system is separately attached to the evaporative freeze dryer. Okay. Refrigeration system is separately attached, and the condenser we use to condense all the vapors comings, okay, so that the vapors can be condensed. Okay. It can't be remains inside the chamber. Okay. For that we need a condenser. Clear? Condenser again condense the temperature inside the condenser will be high. Generally in this drying chamber is generally like below 0, okay, below 4 degrees Celsius. Okay. So, air is already cooled, that below 4 degrees Celsius air is coming outside. Okay. So, this is already cooled air. For that condensing that cooled air, what we need? We need ice. Okay. So, this condenser is generally the ice type condenser. And we also need to reduce the pressure inside the chamber. For that we need vacuum pump. Okay, these are the components of a freeze dryer. Again, vacuum pump, condenser which work on ice, then refrigerator system which we with the help of refrigeration system we will freeze our product, then drying chamber, then trays. These are trays. Okay. Then radiant heat source. These are the major components of the freeze dryer. So, after major components we will design the freeze dryer. So, freeze dryer design, there are 8 different steps in designing of freeze dryer. First one is we will design the freeze dryer. This contain physical and structural design. Okay. So, what will be the size, shape, okay, those things inside a freeze dryer. This will help in the first one, and in that also what we design, we will design the size of the chamber. Okay, we will design the chamber. In freeze dryer design, first is the physical and structural design. In that also we will design the chamber. What should be the size, length, width, height. Okay. Length, width, height of the chamber. Then there are trays. For that, what is length, width, height of the trays? Okay, these two things we will decide in first step. So, first step is the designing of the freeze dryer. In that chamber design. So, in chamber design we will find out length, width, height, and this length, width, height of the chamber I will write CC. So, LC, BC and HC is the dimension of the chamber, and which we use for the find out the total surface area of the chamber. Okay, total wall surface area of the chamber. So, generally our chamber looks like this, like a box only. Okay. correct. So, we will find out what is the length of this, what is the width of this, sorry, this will go as a height, this will go as a length, this is height, okay. This will go as a width. Okay, our chamber is having 3 dimensions: length, height, and the width. Okay, now we find out the surface area of this chamber. How to find out? This is a rectangle, correct. So, what is the area of this rectangle? Length into width, correct. So, there are 2 rectangles, one at the top, one at the bottom. So, surface area of the chamber is total surface area of chamber. What will be the formula for that? For this? Two into length into width plus, we haven't finished yet, we need to calculate this also. We need to calculate this surface area also, and this is also having 2 faces, one here, one here. So, plus this is length, sorry, height into this part is height and this part is the length. So, this is twice into length into height. Okay. There is still one component remaining for the chamber. So, this is this part and this is again 2 parts. So, twice into width and height, W into H. Okay. So, the formula for total surface area of chamber is equals to twice into length into width plus twice into width into height plus twice into length into height. Okay. This is the where L is length, W is width, and H is height. Okay. So, this is the formula for the total surface area. Quite simple. So, first step is completed. We find out the surface area of the drying chamber. So, after surface area, the next step is heat gain through the freeze dryer walls. Okay. So, what happens in freezing? There is like inside our freezer, the temperature is relatively lower than the outside ambient temperature. Okay, outside temperature may be 30, inside temperature may be less than 0. So, there is a too much heat loss inside our because of the walls of the chamber. Okay, that is why we find out the surface area of the wall of the chamber, and which we use to find out the heat loss during the operation. So, how to find out the heat loss? For that we need one term which is overall heat transfer factor, which we denoted with U. Okay. The unit for this U is watt per meter degree Kelvin. Watt per meter Kelvin is the unit for this, which is overall heat factor or overall heat transfer coefficient. So, how to find out this overall heat transfer coefficient? So, we have studied this overall heat transfer coefficient for the composite wall. For the composite wall, what is the formula for overall heat transfer coefficient? That is U is equals to 1 by Hi plus my bad. Okay, U equals to 1 upon everything, K by X plus 1 by H naught. Again, one mistake. Okay. So, this is the formula for overall heat transfer factor or overall heat transfer coefficient. We will find out from here. So, what is Hi? Hi is convective heat transfer coefficient. Which is inside the chamber. What is convective heat transfer coefficient? H naught is also a convective heat transfer coefficient. I will write in short, which is outside. Okay. So, suppose this is our wall for the chamber. Okay, it is made up of 1 or 2 or 3 materials. Okay. So, for each material we will find out the width. Okay, this is material 1, this is 2, this is 3, 1, 2 and 3 materials. Okay, this wall is made up of 3 different materials, and this is inside, okay, and this is outside. So, Hi works here, Ho works here. So, this is inside convective heat transfer coefficient, Ho is the outside convective heat transfer coefficient. Now, we will deal with X and K. X is nothing but the thickness of the wall, thickness of material. Thickness of material. Okay. Thickness of material inside the wall. So, this wall is containing 3 different materials, right. So, this will be X1, X2, X3. So, this will be the thickness of the material. Okay. K, thermal conductivity. The thermal conductivity of each material, what will be K of the first material, second material, third material. By keeping all these things, we will find out the U value, okay, which is overall heat transfer coefficient or overall heat transfer heat factor. Okay. So, this x and k can be multiple, like here I have taken only one. Okay, suppose we are having 3x and 2x and k, this will be x1, k1, x2 and k2. That's why I kept dot dot dot. So it can be increased n number of walls. Okay, for since generally what we do, we generally having 2 walls in case of our freeze dryer, but it can be increased up to n number of walls. Okay, after finding out u, what we find out? We found out heat gain from the wall. Okay, or heat loss during the operation is same. So this is simple one, heat gain from the wall, which will define by QW. This is U. We have already find out. This is A. Already done. So now we will find out U. Sorry, QW. So QW, which is equals to the heat gain from the wall of the chamber, is equals to U, which we already determined. A. Done. Delta T is the temperature difference across the wall divided by X, thickness of the wall. Okay. So this X is the capital X, not the small x. So this is X is the wall thickness of the composite wall. Okay, which is equals to x1 plus, if suppose we are having 3 different material, then this x will be equals to x1 plus x2 plus x3. Okay, this is how we will find out x. U is the overall heat transfer coefficient. A, area, which we determined in first slide. Delta T is the temperature difference. Okay, there is a temperature inside and outside of the our drying chamber. So delta T equals to T out minus T in. What is the outside temperature to the inside temperature difference? That is delta T. After finding out the this delta T, what we find out? The condenser sizing. Okay, the condenser sizing we find out with the QC. What should be the size of the condenser we are using? So QC formula is equals to, okay, QW into 24 hours, because it is working 24 hours, into N divided by So this is the formula for the size of the condenser. Size of the condenser is generally give in terms of kilojoule per minute. Okay, how much heat it is taking or it is rejecting per minute. That is the size of the, that is how we define the size of the condenser. So which is equals to the heat load, okay, heat gained by the walls. Whatever the heat is generated from the walls, it should be taken out from the condenser. Okay, so heat from the walls, okay, should be plus with the Q. This we'll see later. What is Q? Okay, means this is the total heat generated inside the temperature. So, okay, it should be equals to the Q plus 24 is for the, like, converting this hours into day. Okay, then N is the RPM, working RPM of the condenser motor. Desirable runtime is how many hours we are performing the operation. Okay, 2 hours, 3 hours. During that time, the condenser should work, and according to that, we need to select the size of the condenser, which will give the size of the condenser. So now we will see the next. First, I will highlight what we have studied in this slide. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, I need 3 more slides. So after determining the condensing size, so condenser sizing of the freeze dryer, next step is to determine the heating gain from the produce. Heat gain, how much heat is gained from the produce. So that will take as the QP, will be the heat gain from the produce, which in terms of kilojoule, okay, in a day or per batch. Okay. So we will say per batch. Okay, and the time for this batch occurs, we can take capital N, which is the time of drying. One batch. Okay. Sorry, this N will be the number of batches per day. Okay. So this is what we will find out. We decide here, we will find out Q and number of batches we are performing in a day. Okay. So suppose this heating grain we are taking M will be the mass of the product. The formula for this will be MCP delta T, where M is the mass of our produce in terms of kg. Cp will be the specific heat of the product, and delta T will be the temperature difference. Okay, temperature difference means what will be the initial temperature of the product minus the working temperature of the product. Okay, at which temperature we are freezing the product. So that will be the temperature difference, and N will be the number of batches we are performing in a day. So from this formula we will find out the heat gain. So after heat gain of the product, we will find out the total heat removed during freezing. What is the total heat removed during freezing? So that this is QP. Okay. So another heat is QW, which is from wall, correct. So these are the heat which is removed from the product, plus there is a heat, plus there is a latent heat also, okay, which we consider QL, which is generally related with the product. Okay. So this is latent heat, and which is equals to the Q, total heat removed during freezing. QW is the heat gain from the wall, QP is the heat gain from the produce or the product, QL will be the latent heat of the product, okay, which is generally given by M into lambda, where M is the mass of product, lambda will be the latent heat. This formula we have seen MCP delta T, this formula we have seen UA delta T by X. So this is the ultimate heat which a freeze dryer is working on to remove. Okay. So after the finding out the ultimate heat, what is the total amount of heat we are going to remove, okay, which we find out in how much time we are removing the heat. So formula for total heat removed during freezing is generally we can give kilojoule per minute. Okay. So this is not converted into minute, this is just a kilojoule till now, okay, because this is in kilojoule, this is in kilojoule, this is in kilojoule. How to get in kilojoule per minute? Okay. So we can say Qs, okay, which is not complete heat, but what is the freezing heat, which is equals to Qs summation of all heats 36 3600. We are converting hours into seconds into minutes, okay, into n number of what, sorry, capital N, what will be the number of batches we are dealing in a day, okay, which will give us the heat in terms of total heat removed during freezing in terms of kilojoule per minute. Okay. After that we will find out the freezing load of the product. Okay, what should be the freezing load of the product? Freezing load is very easy. Okay, we can define it by FL. Again, this is the nothing but a heat only. So freezing load is equals to, so what will be the mass of the product we are dealing inside our chamber into total heat, which we need freezing heat, okay, total heat removed, which is Q. Okay, when it multiplies with the mass of the product, it will give us the freezing load. So after that we will find out the COP, which is nothing but the coefficient of performance. Coefficient of performance of any dryer or a freeze dryer, the formula for COP is nothing but COP is coefficient of performance. In case of heat pump or a freezing, we find out the coefficient of performance. What do you mean by coefficient of performance? Means how efficiently our system is working. Okay, that gives with the COP. Higher the COP, the better the efficiency of the product, our system. So COP formula we know, COP is equals to, first we will see in terms of heat. Sorry. So when we are QC heat removed from cold reservoir, okay, QH heat removed from hot side or hot reservoir, okay, where QC is the heat removed from the cold side and QH will be the heat removed from the hot side of the system. So what is QC? Is a refrigerator in our system. Okay, what is QH? It is a heat pump, okay, which is condenser inside our system, that is QH. So how much heat is reduced or heat is removed from both the system is the formula for this COP. Or the COP formula is another there, means heat supplied or heat removed. In case of cold freezing, it is heat removed divided by work done. So this much amount of heat is removed from the system, this much total work is done on the system. Okay. So same things if we put in terms of temperature, TH minus TC, where temperature will be, TC will be the temperature for the cold reservoir and TH will be the temperature for the hot reservoir. Okay. Cold side or reservoir TH, hot reservoir. Okay. So these are the formulas which we generally use for finding out the COP of the system in case of freeze drying. So that's it for the lecture. Sorry. Thank you. That's it for the lecture. So before finishing, I will like to revise what we have studied. Okay. Okay, before finishing, I would like to revise what we have studied inside in today's lecture. So we have seen the definition, what do you mean by freeze dryer. After that, we have seen the phases of freeze dryer, which is nothing but the freezing phase, then primary phase, primary drying, then secondary drying. After that, we have seen the certain problem which occurs during freeze drying. Then what are the important terms which we use in freeze drying, that is triple point, eutectic point, or eutectic temperature, critical temperature, annealing and gas phase, gas stage. Then crystalline stage, what do you mean by amorphous, and what do you understand by collapse of a material. After that, we have seen the working principle, what are the principles behind the working of the freeze dryer. Then the different components of the freeze dryer we have seen, and then we designed the different components numerically, how to find out the or design the freeze dryer. In that, we have seen the first one, the design, physical design, which is a design of a chamber. In that, we find out the area of the chamber. Okay, the formula for area of the chamber is 2 into L into width, length into width, 2 into width into height, and 2 into length into height. Okay. So, sorry. After this, we have find out the heat gain through the freeze dryer walls. Okay. So this wall we have considered a composite wall, and the formula we have used is this one. Okay, for the composite wall, how to find out the overheat transfer coefficient of the composite wall. After composite wall heat, then we have find out the heat gain from the chamber by using composite wall coefficient, heat factor, and then area of the chamber into delta T, means the temperature difference divided by the height. Okay, so the thickness of the wall. And after that, we find out the QC. QC is nothing but the condenser sizing. What should be the size of the condenser? Then after condenser size, we find out the heat gain from the product. The formula for that is MCP delta T, heat gain from the product. Then here we have find out in heat gain of the product, we also seen the number of batches we are performing in a day. Okay, and then from those things we find out the total heat removed from the freeze drying. So total heat removed from freeze dryer, we need the total heat which is generated during the operation, and that heat we are find in terms of kilojoule per minute. That is the total heat removed from the freeze dryer. and then the freeze drying load. Okay, what should be the load of the freeze dryer? That is M into Q. Q is the freeze dryer heat removed during freezing. Then lastly, we find out the COP. For COP, we have seen the three formulas. First one, in terms of heat removed divided by work done. In terms of heat removed from cold and hot side, and sorry, this here I made a mistake. Okay. So this is three formulas we have seen. COP formulas three we have seen. First one, okay. First one was in terms of heat removed and work done. Second was in terms of cold and hot reservoir side of heat removed, means how much heat removed in terms of cold side and the hot side. In terms of that is QC minus QH minus QC. And third one was in terms of temperature, okay, which is TC and TH. TC is the cold side reservoir temperature and TH will be the hot side reservoir temperature. Okay, and the formula is QH minus QC. Okay, please rectify that, because the COP value is always more than 1 in case of freeze dryer. Okay, in case of any system, COP value should be more than 1. Okay, this is very much important question. In GATE also they will ask what should be the QC value. And when we compare the freeze dryer like freezing and the heating chamber for COP, we find out the COP of the heat pump is higher than the freeze dryer or a freezing chamber heat system. So thank you for this. This is it for this lecture. Thank you for listening me. We will meet soon.